Welcome to Vivid Verses. If our words resonate with you, please subscribe, tap the like, and share your thoughts and your feelings in the comments. Now let's begin. You're looking at me like I just shot a puppy. Stop it. I'm not heartbroken. I'm recalibrating. You know how I trade. You don't hold on to a declining asset just because you remember the price you bought it at. You market to market, you realize the loss, and you free up the capital. Bella was a declining asset. I'm telling you this in detail, the full timeline. So when the rumors start flying around the squash courts next week, you have the ledger. She's going to tell people I'm emotionally unavailable, or that I snapped under pressure, or that I'm having a midlife crisis. The truth is boring. The truth is logistics. To understand why I left her in the lobby of the Pierre Hotel last night, you have to understand the operational failures that led up to it. It wasn't one comment about a suit. The suit was just the signature on the divorce papers. The contract had been drafted months ago. It started about 4 months back. We were past the honeymoon phase, that initial 90-day period where everyone is on their best behavior and the dopamine masks the red flags. We were settling into a routine, and the routine revealed a specific architectural flaw in her personality. She operates on a scarcity model of status. Bella is successful. She's a director of marketing. She makes 6 figures. She has a good network. But she doesn't feel successful unless she is more successful than the person standing next to her. And since we were standing next to each other, I became the competition. But she couldn't compete with me on the numbers. My firm had a banner year. So she decided to compete on taste. She decided to become the arbiter of what is correct. And by defining me as incorrect, she could maintain leverage. I tracked the data points. Take 6 weeks ago. We're at Loop Bernardine with the managing partners. High stakes. I'm trying to close the master service agreement with the Asian distributors. I order a bottle of Burlo. Solid choice, reliable, fits the profile of the table. Bella waits for silence. She puts her hand on my forearm, a gesture that looks affectionate but is actually a restraint, and says to the table, "Arthur is so cute with his wine choices. He reads one article in Spectator and decides he's a sommelier. It's adorable how hard he tries." Analyze that sentence. Cute, adorable, tries. She infantilized me in front of men. I need to respect me. She framed my competence as trying, implying I was failing. I didn't react. I smiled, poured the wine, and closed the deal. But I noted it. Then there was the condo situation a month ago. You know my place. It's minimal. Steel, glass, leather. It's efficient. It's clean. I don't like clutter. She came over with a bag of throw pillows and some abstract art prints. "We need to fix this," she said. When I told her it wasn't broken, she pushed back. "It's sterile," she told me. "It screams bachelor who is afraid of intimacy. I love that you think this stark look is cool, but it actually just looks like you can't afford an interior designer." Again, the reframe. My preference for minimalism wasn't a choice. It was a deficit of taste or money. I let it slide because I figured it was just friction. 2 lives merging. You make allowances. You adjust for volatility. But the trend line was bad. She wasn't trying to improve my life. She was trying to gentrify it. She wanted to tear down my structures and build hers on top, just to prove she owned the land. Now, you have to look at the immediate context of this week to understand why I didn't have the patience to hedge my position last night. We are acquiring Redpoint Logistics. It's a distressed asset in New Jersey. Great trucking fleet, terrible management. The deal was supposed to be a layup. We sign on Friday, we announce on Monday. Then, Tuesday morning, due diligence flagged a discrepancy in the pension fund liabilities. The previous CFO had been cooking the books to hide a $20 million shortfall. If we signed the deal as written, we'd be on the hook for the $20 million. If we walked, we lost the 6 months of work we put into the acquisition. I went into the war room on Wednesday morning. I didn't come out until Friday afternoon. I was in Newark in a warehouse that smelled like diesel and stale coffee, negotiating with a union rep. A guy named Kowalski who has hands the size of hams and trusts nobody in a suit. I slept 4 hours on a leather couch in the stunningly uncomfortable break room. I ate vending machine crackers. I didn't shower on Thursday. Friday morning, yesterday, I'm running on adrenaline and caffeine. We finally cracked the liability issue at 3 p.m. We structured a holdback to cover the gap. Kowalski shook my hand. The deal was saved. I looked at my phone. It was 4:15 p.m. The gala for the Children's Hospital was at 7 p.m. Bella expects me at 6:30 p.m. I am in Newark. Traffic is a nightmare. I drove back to the city and made it to my apartment at 5:45 p.m. I had 45 minutes to turn a warehouse negotiator into a gala donor. Here is the wardrobe situation. My 2 bespoke tuxedos were at the dry cleaner. I dropped them off on Monday, expecting to pick them up Wednesday. But I was in Newark on Wednesday. They were currently locked in a shop on 3rd Avenue. I had 2 options. Option A, wear a blue pinstripe business suit. Too corporate. Looks like I came straight from the office. Option B, the charcoal suit. You know the one. I bought it at Brooks Brothers in O'Hare Airport 3 years ago when the airline lost my luggage before the Chicago summit. It's off the rack. Fused canvas, not full canvas. Boxy cut. The wool is durable, not delicate. It cost $800. It's a utility suit. It's dark enough to pass for formal in low light. It's clean. I put it on. It fit loosely in the waist. I've dropped 5 pounds from stress this week, and the shoulders were a little stiff. I looked in the mirror. I didn't see a fashion disaster. I saw a man who had just saved a $100 million deal and was showing up to support his girlfriend despite being legally exhausted. I prioritize presence over presentation. That's what adults do. I picked her up at 6:30 on the dot. She came down the stairs of her building. I have to give credit where it's due. She looked stunning. Emerald green dress, backless, structured, hair pulled back tight. She knows how to present. She treats her appearance like a KPI. I got out of the car. I took the sedan, not the Porsche, because I didn't want to deal with the clutch in traffic. She walked up to me. She didn't kiss me. She didn't say hello. She scanned me, top to bottom. Rough week? She asked. Brutal, I said. We closed the Red Point deal an hour ago. She didn't ask about the deal. She didn't ask if I was okay. She looked at my shoulder. You're wearing that. My tuxedos are held hostage at the cleaners, I said. This is the backup. She sighed. A long, performative exhale. Well, at least it's dark. Maybe if we stand in the shadows, no one will notice the fit. I opened the car door for her. Get in, Bella. The ride to the Pierre was silent. I was decompressing. My brain was still processing the union contracts. I was thinking about the integration plan for Monday. She was stewing. I could feel it. She was vibrating with that specific anxiety narcissists get when they think their reflection is going to be smudged. She felt my suit was a personal affront to her brand. We hit traffic on 5th Avenue. We're going to be late, she said. We'll be 10 minutes late. It's a cocktail hour. Nobody cares. I care, she snapped. People notice. Bella, I said, keeping my voice level. I have been awake for 36 hours. I am here. I am upright. I am wearing a tie. Let's take the win. She turned to the window. You just don't get it. She was right. I didn't get it. Because it was a game I wasn't playing. We arrived. Valet. Coat check. The noise hit us. That roar of 500 people drinking champagne in a room with bad acoustics. We stepped into the staging area before the ballroom. This is the transition zone, where people fix their ties and check their makeup before entering the arena. We were standing next to the Devises. You know Jim Davis? Senior VP at Morgan Stanley. His wife, Clara, is the head of the foundation board. These are people I do business with. These are people Bella wants to impress. Bella stopped me. She turned to face me. She reached out and placed her hand on my lapel. I thought for a split second she was going to fix it, maybe offer a word of encouragement. Thanks for making it. You look tired but good. She smoothed the fabric. Then she looked at the texture of the wool. She knows the difference between Super 150's wool and airport wool. She looked me in the eye. She smirked. It wasn't a smile. It was a sneer wrapped in a smile. It's so brave of you to wear that off-the-rack suit, she said. She pitched her voice perfectly. Loud enough for Jim and Clara to hear. Loud enough for the couple behind us to hear. I love how you just don't care what people think. Stop. Free frame. Look at the mechanics of the ambush. She had 4 months of data. She knew I wouldn't cause a scene. She counted on my professionalism to protect her rudeness. She was banking on the social contract of the couple. You must support your partner in public, even if they are cutting your throat. She attacked on 3 vectors. First, brave. This reframes my practicality as social suicide. Bravery is only required when facing danger. She defined my suit as a danger. Second, off the rack. A direct status violation. In this room, bespoke is the baseline. She was calling out my poverty of effort. Third, you don't care. This was the killer. She was stripping me of agency. She was telling the room, he is oblivious. He is a child who dressed himself in the dark. I am the benevolent caretaker who tolerates his sloppiness. She wanted me to feel shame. Why? Because if I felt shame, I would look down. I would mumble. I would apologize to her. And in that moment, she would become the high-status partner. She would be the gracious beauty dragging the beast through civilization. She needed me to be smaller so she could feel taller. I looked at her, and the switch flipped. I wasn't angry. I didn't feel the heat of embarrassment. I felt the cold clarity of a decision tree resolving. Input. Partner uses public humiliation to gain leverage. Assessment. Liability exceeds asset value. Action. Liquidate. I didn't blink. I didn't look at Jim Davis to see if he heard. I looked only at her. I smiled. A real smile. The kind you give when you finally figure out why the numbers haven't been balancing. Thank you, Bella, I said. My voice was calm, grounded. I projected it just enough to override the background noise. Confidence is the only accessory that matters. You look stunning. I offered her my arm. I watched her face. She froze. She had the script in her head. Arthur gets defensive. Bella soothes him. Arthur feels grateful and subservient. Bella wins. I burned the script. By accepting the compliment, literally, I forced her into a corner. If she insisted it was an insult, she would have to say, "No, I meant you look cheap." That makes her the villain. If she accepted my reaction, she had to accept that her attack failed, that I was immune to her judgment. She looked at my arm. Then she looked at my face. She saw nothing there for her to grab onto. No hurt feelings. No insecurity. Just a wall of polished granite. She took my arm. Her grip was tight. Her nails dug in slightly. "Shall we?" I asked. We walked into the ballroom. The dynamic had shifted. She was rattled. She felt the rejection of her frame, and it disoriented her. She kept glancing at me, waiting for the anger to show up. She wanted me to be mad. Anger is engagement. Anger means she matters. Indifference? Indifference is death. We circulated. I want to work. I saw Kessler. "Arthur," he shouted. "Heard about the Red Point deal. Kowalski didn't eat you alive." "I'm indigestible, Kessler," I said. "And the pension fund?" "Solved. We did a holdback structure." "Brilliant," Kessler said. He looked at Bella. "You were the shark, Bella. Hope you know that." Bella laughed, but it was brittle. "Oh, he's a shark at work. At home, he's simpler." She was trying again, trying to minimize me. I turned to Kessler. "Simplicity is efficiency, right? Bella likes complexity. She keeps me on my toes." I winked at Kessler. He laughed. I didn't defend myself. I didn't attack her. I just absorbed the energy and redirected it. Bella's smile faltered. She realized she was invisible in the conversation. Not because we were ignoring her, but because she had nothing to offer but critique, and critique has no currency when the target doesn't care. We moved to the bar. She ordered a champagne. I ordered a club soda. "You're not drinking?" she asked. "I'm working," I said. "I have to brief the board on Monday." "You're always working," she muttered. "It's boring." "It pays for the tickets," I said. Matter of fact. No malice. Just data. She looked around the room. She was looking for allies. She wanted someone to validate her frustration. But everyone saw a successful man in a dark suit standing next to a beautiful woman. They didn't see the victim she wanted to be. At 9:45 p.m., I hit my limit. The adrenaline from the deal was fading, and the exhaustion was crashing in. I had done the rounds. I had shaken the hands. I had successfully signaled to the market that I was alive and solvent. "I'm leaving," I told her. We were near the orchestra. The music was loud. "What? We haven't even had dessert." "I'm done, Bella. I'm crashing. I need to sleep. You can't just leave me here." "I'm not leaving you here. You can come, or you can stay. But the car leaves in 5 minutes." She glared at me. "You are being impossible." "Is this because of the suit comment?" "My God, Arthur, it was a joke." "You're being so sensitive." There it was. The gaslight. "You are sensitive." I looked at her. I really looked at her. I saw the fear. I saw the insecurity. And I realized I had zero interest in fixing it. "It wasn't a joke," I said. "It was a leverage play, and it didn't work." "I don't know what you're talking about." "You do," I said. "You want me to feel small so you can feel safe." "I get it, but I don't have the time for it. I have a company to run." "You're breaking up with me?" She hissed it. She was aware of the people around us. "I'm ending the inefficiency," I said. I walked toward the lobby. She followed me, her heels clicking aggressively on the marble. We got to the valet stand. The air was cool outside. "Arthur, stop!" She grabbed my arm. "You're not doing this here." "I'm doing this here," I said. "Because if I go back to your place, we're going to have a 3-hour argument where you cry and I apologize for things I didn't do, just so we could go to sleep." I'm skipping to the end. "I love you," she said. It sounded like a threat. "You love the idea of me," I corrected. "You love the lifestyle. You love the status. But you don't respect the person. And that's fine. But I don't invest in partners who short my stock." The valet pulled up the sedan. I took the ticket from the attendant. I handed the attendant a 20. I turned to Bella. "Take the car," I said. "What?" "I'm taking an Uber. You take the car. It's safer than a cab." I pressed the keys into her hand. "Arthur, this is insane. Over a suit. It's not about the suit, Bella. It's about the 4 months of paper cuts. The suit was just the one that got infected." I stepped back. "I'll have your things packed up. I'll hire professional movers, insured, white glove service. They'll deliver to your apartment on Saturday. You don't need to come by. I have a key. I'll have the locks changed by tomorrow morning," I said. "Don't make it a thing. Just let it be." She stood there holding the keys. She looked small. The emerald dress looked like a costume now. She wanted to scream. I could see it in her throat. But she couldn't. Not in front of the doorman. Not in front of the valet. She was trapped by the very social pressure she tried to use against me. "Go home, Bella," I said softly. I turned and walked down the block to the corner to hail a cab. I didn't look back. If I'd looked back, I might have felt bad. I might have remembered the good weekends. I might have wavered. So I stared at the traffic light. Red. Green. Go. I got into the Uber. The driver was playing jazz. It was quiet. I checked my phone. One email from legal. Pension holdback ratified. Closing Monday. I leaned back against the seat. I felt lighter. It wasn't happiness. It was the absence of drag. It was the feeling of dropping a heavy rucksack after a 10-mile march. I got home. The apartment was dark. It smelled like her, that expensive sandalwood candle she burns. I open the window. I let the city air in. I took off the charcoal suit. I hung it up. I ran my hand over the lapel. It's a good suit. It did its job. It protected me. I slept for 12 hours. I woke up this morning, called the locksmith, called the movers. The locks are changed. Her boxes are currently being packed by a team of very polite men in coveralls. So, that's the situation. I'm single. The lease is in my name. The deal closes Monday. I need you to handle the social fallout. You know the drill. She's going to tell everyone I'm a sociopath. Let her. If anyone asks you, just say, Arthur ran the numbers. The math didn't work. They'll understand. Now, where's that waiter? I'm going to order the scotch, the Lafroig, and I'm going to drink it because I like the taste of peat, not because I'm trying to prove anything to anyone. Cheers. Thank you for listening. That brings today's story to a close. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. See you next time.